Hello, Vinayaka. Jai Shri Mataji.
Hello, good morning, Daniel. Nice to see you and Jai Shri Mataji.
Jai Shri Mataji to you and to everybody who watching us. I like to present the people who are watching us, Gwenael Verez, um, which I call him Vinayaka. He's one of the many French Sahaja yogi who came in Romania in early 1990, the first half of 1990. Some people came in June, some people came in July, some other in August, and they keep it like that for the whole year. The reason Gwen is here with us is because we, Romanian Sahaja Yogi, have a very fond memories about their friendship and their um, support, the strong support to us in Romania by that time. Was a huge um, aid for Sahaja Yoga in Romania by that time. And Vinayaka, because we know him by that name, which is given to him by Shimataji, also play a huge role. In this episode, we will talk about that. I have to tell you that if you follow our YouTube channel, you probably saw a dedicated chapter to the French Sahaja Yogi who support us. I call it with a little bit of sense of humor, French invasion. So there are already five or six Sahaja Yogi there who deliver their memories, and we have a very good time. Two of my Raki sisters, which were the first Raki sister in Sahaja Yoga, Marivuyo and Minakshi, another three men. So with Vinayaka, we talk a little bit until we manage to find for both of us this perfect timing to have a chat. But the pleasure of meeting was even bigger. So we, uh, he kept exactly the same smile like 35 because our 35 years ago. So we are now actually more than 35 years ago since we met, because I believe I didn't see Gwen since then. With few other people I met a little bit later in 1992, 1993. We will talk about that. I'm not sure. You will confirm if you came in Romania in 1992. Probably yes, but I'm not 100% sure, as was a lot, as a big event there with the puja. We don't have too much time to socialize. We meet in Russia with few other Sahaja. Anyway, I don't want to finish this long story, because I have to tell you who is Vinayaka, but he will tell you, hopefully, more than me. But I don't want to finish my first part of the presentation, because before I try to let you know my second reason for asking Vinayaka to come to talk with us. He is not only a very old Sahaja Yogi, he's not only a very good Sahaja Yogi, he's not only a kind of, we look at this guy like some kind of guru. I don't want to say big words, but I know the feeling of someone who have something to learn from someone else. luckily happened the other way around as well, because I have people who learn something from me or from Delia or from others, Delia, my wife. So this feeling, you cannot take it out. It stay there forever. But he's also an author, and a very good one. So very briefly, because hopefully we will have at least another meeting to talk about his works. I use plural. So he's an author, and that's the English version and of the book. He wrote it in French, called La Mer et la Spiritualité, in late 90s. If you will correct me, I'm sure we will talk about that. You'll tell me
In
if
the
I'm
early 90s. It was in the early 90s.
yes. It's my fault because I read it in late 90s in French. But after that, I bought it in English, which is a completely different version. It's not a different book, but it's a different version. Very recently, he wrote another one about Hazrat Ali, which we read it and actually enjoy it very much. Islam is not a very um, not a very well researched in Sahaja Yoga. Not too much talk about Islam in Sahaja Yoga, and this one is obviously from the perspective of Shia, because as we know, Hazrat Ali was a Shia. We will talk about that hopefully. And finally, I will show you only the books I have, but with Gwen, we will talk about the others. And that's another, it's a translation of Amritanutaba. So, Gyaneshvara, Dhyaneshvara. There are at least three or four way of pronouncing the name of the great saint Gyaneshvara. And this one is Amrita Bhava. Um, It's funny in few minutes to talk about a person. That's why I will let Vinayaka to tell us, and please let us know what are you doing now. That's my way of starting everything with everybody, because okay, I talk about you a little bit, but I even myself, I don't know, let alone the people who are watching us. The majority of us do not know what are you doing now. Where are you set it? Where are you do Sahaja Yoga? What are you writing? Where are you do stuff? What's your job if you want to tell us? Family, kids, whatever you are comfortable with, please let us know. Who is Philippe Gwenael Verez?
So, thank you, Daniel, for this nice introduction. And um, uh, you are a very benevolent person, so you see mostly the qualities of people, and uh, your your let's say the way you speak about people is let's say very nice. Um, so who am I? That's a good question, and I think we all ask ourselves this question, and that's why we have become such yogis. Um, uh, it's. I think your question is a funny question because um, in the history of spirituality, fundamentally, we when we are a seeker of truth, we tend to um, consider that there is only one thing that is important, that is being the absolute, reaching a state of uh, of bliss, being a detached person, uh, let's say a person who merges with the divine. And at least that's how I considered myself when I started Sahaja. Um, Actually, I wanted to. I wanted to go to before I met Sahaja. I found Sahaja. I wanted to go to the Himalayas, and I studied Hindi in the School of Eastern Languages in Paris, because I wanted to spend some time in a cave in the Himalayas. So um, um, uh, that's the and I even had the goal that I should reach, let's say, God realization. And as I was a bit right-headed person, I even made a plan that I had to reach that state in 6 lives. So, as funny as it can be, and um, and so that's the point. But um, actually, we have as yogis, we and as a human being, we fundamentally um, um, let's say we are the product of our three main channels or three gunas. And uh, as a seeker, we tend to put the attention towards fundamentally the Shiva Tattva, the principle of the spirit, which is our goal and which is a destination. Um, but this is only one part of the story. And we can only reach that goal when fundamentally we are very much um, um, anchored in the other two channels, which is the Brahma Tattva and the Vishnu Tattva. The Brahma Tattva is, let's say, the moment of our life when we are young and we are very creative and we want to discover the world, and let's say that's our youth. Uh, but the more we grow in age and the more we evolve, we pass through the, let's say, the central channel, the Vishnu Tattva and the Shiva Tattva. And the Vishnu Tattva is the central channel, and actually uh, that's where we are. Uh, while the spirit is on the left side, because the spirit is in our heart, and we 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 can only grow in the Vishnu Tattva. Um, Even Sri Mataji said that we cannot be in the Shiva Tattva, that we cannot, the Sahaja cannot be in the Shiva Tattva. We can only be in the Vishnu Tattva. Because Shiva is totally detached. And it's if we were in the Shiva Tattva, the meaning of creation would not exist. So being in the Vishnu Tattva is very important, and that's the meaning of Bhagavad Gita. And later on, it is a very much expanded meaning of the Jnaneshvari, which is a commentary of Bhagavad Gita by Jnaneshvara. And being in the Vishnu Tattva means that we are not only the spirit, but we are a human being in this creation, in this world, and we have to play our lives. That means we have to have a job, we have to have a family, and we are, as such, part of the creative Maya of the Adishakti. So in this, let's say, in this Maya of life, I am a pharmacist, because I am scientifically minded. So I made, and I wanted to be useful in this life. So being a pharmacist, uh, I mean, it's an I would say it's a noble profession. Um, um, and uh, but I didn't work as a pharmacist in a shop, let's say, in a pharmacy. I worked in a multinational corporation, and I was um, responsible for the internationalization and the international sales and so on. So I've been fundamentally a businessman, and I have tried to be I have tried as in this difficult world, in this difficult business world, in this difficult competitive world that is very much on the right side. I've tried to be as much a yogi as I could, and I have struggled to. And now I am reaching my retirement, so I am consultant at the moment, and all things that maybe have some my feet in this world, which is very important. And I am also part of the ecological party in France, and I enjoy that because it keeps me the connection with the real world, uh, as we say, real world, uh, and not the world of of spirituality that is beyond everything. And I think that this your question, who we are, who am I, is very important because we have to be very much involved in this world to understand people, and uh, I think it nourishes our way to be able to then spread that yoga, knowing the people as they are, knowing that people are not seekers, knowing that people are as they are, uh, into the egg of the ego and the superego, and that's why I think it's very important for me, although I am progressively getting into retirement, to keep a very strong uh, bond with the real world, which is very real is very ambiguous because it's real and unreal world. So here we are, Daniel. I don't know if I could, but I will just finish this small introduction by saying that in Indian spirituality, uh, and fundamentally, this is a message of the saints. And Gwenael says that when we are, when we become a complete personality, the Shiva Tattva and the Vishnu Tattva merge into one, and um, this is described as uh, having Hari and Hara be one. Hari being the name of Sri Vishnu, and Hara being the name of Sri Shiva.
Um, I don't want to push you into more domestic description about Sahaja Yoga and your family before I tell you about the fact that you are a pharmacist. Now I remember. Imagine, I forget. Now when you told me, I remember. And you know, I knew because I'm a chemist myself. So actually, I'm not exactly a chemist. I'm a chemical engineer, but I was working in the pharmacy industry. I was working not as a businessman or like a more or less managing the pharmacy industry, but and I I love very much the part with the noble job, which it is a noble job. Um, I wasn't too fond about chemistry, but I ended love it, especially the organic chemistry was was a real pleasure to learn the theory of organic chemistry. So by that time, I have no idea about Sahaja Yoga, but I love the chemistry of carbon. So I was completely hooked. Was the only things I know. The inorganic chemistry, I hate it. I don't like it at all. But the organic one, I love it. And this happened to be my job. I mean, because I've done chemistry in high school, and after that I follow the uni the same. But all I know from the high school, all the hybridization of the carbon atom and everything was fantastic. And to my surprise, I find it after 15 years or so, when I come to Sahaja Yoga, all the hybridization of carbon with all the symbol from the cross to Aum and everything, which basically are in nearly every serious book about Sahaja Yoga. So this representation of carbon, and again, is not the carbon, is the hybridization of carbon. I mean the link of the carbon with something else. No, um, okay. Um, you are married. Do you have kids? Where are you settled? In what town you live now?
I am. I am. I have two girls who are now 30 and 32. I live in Nancy. I've been living in Nancy for 2 years now.
Nancy.
Previously, I was living in Vienna in Austria, and before I lived in Paris, and I also lived in Germany. I also lived in Japan for a while for my job. Um, I live in Nancy. I've been living here since, as I said, 2 years, and it's it's a very beautiful city, and the main square of Nancy is probably the most beautiful main square in France. And obviously, even in Europe, it's really one of the most beautiful squares. It's a very beautiful and elegant town. And amazingly, it's part of the Lorraine, which is part of the eastern part of France, between Paris and Alsace, between Paris and Strasbourg. And um, this is a beautiful area, but there are basically no yogis in both in the big cities of Lorraine, which are Metz, which is very old medieval Roman, even Roman times city, while Nancy is much more modern. It dates from the 15th century, and in both of the cities, Sajaga has not been established. There was some tentative to start. Some yogis came here, but it never settled. So here am I with my wife, and some good friends of us will move in a few months, and we start spreading Sahaja Yogas as we have been doing everywhere, which gives us uh, lots of joy, of course, and uh, and it keeps us uh, let's say busy in maybe going back to the Brahmatattva in the creativity, because we have to be creative to let's say to try to bring people into this wonderful experience of self-realization and this wonderful knowledge of self-realization that Shrimataji has bestowed upon us. This incredible knowledge that give us the ability to fundamentally know everything. Uh, and and you know, I am very much uh, I am so fond of the scriptures, Indian scriptures. Um, Fundamentally, that's why I translated Jnaneshvara in French and even in English. Um, the, um, the depths that we find in these early writings, and that basically um, mirror uh, the knowledge that Shrimadaji has given us through her talks is very deep and very profound, and is so much elevating. But in the meantime, we have to be simple and straight, and for the seekers of today. That I remember when I started Sahaja Yoga, I would say that most seekers would know about Indian spirituality, would know about Bhagavad Gita, would know even about Shankaracharya, for example. But nowadays, nobody knows these people and these saints anymore. I mean, so we have to be very simple. We have to find ways, and it's a challenge. It's a challenge, and but in the meantime, it's very interesting because we have to change our mindset and say, how can I be how can I be simple and uh, available for these people who are
Yep.
seekers, uh, but maybe not as we were, let's say 40 years ago. Um, so it's an interesting path, and it's also interesting for us because we have to. There is nothing fixed. I mean, in life there is nothing. There is we always have to change, and that's the lesson of life and of the creation itself. It's always changing, changing, and changing, and we have to change, and that's we cannot stay uh, static.
Yes.
I like this beautiful sentence that this beautiful verse in the Jnaneshvari, not in the Jnaneshvari, I'm sorry, but in Amrita Nubhava, where Jnaneshvar speaks about Param Chaitanya, he speaks about the Adishakti. And he says that the Adishakti is always changing her clothes, always changing her clothes, because the world is changing all the time. It's always moving and moving and moving. So that's here we are in this, let's say, struggle, battle, uh, uh, let's this Kurukshetra battle of nowadays to find the seekers and to meet the seekers and to make people seekers and to that's our duty and that's our life and that's what I am doing, what I'm trying to put most of my attention.
One thing I learned from you guys, from the French Sahaja Yogi, and from you as well, is the natural way of talking about Sahaja Yoga. There are two ways of talking about Sahaja Yoga. One is dry one, with we call it in Romania, will be a barbaric translation, tongue, wooden tongue, we call it. That expression doesn't exist in English or in French. I don't know. Probably in French we have something similar.
Yeah, it's the same phrase in French.
Yeah. So which I never ever like it. I find it not only dry but artificial. So what I learned from you, you never talk with that language. You never talk from the book. You never talk. Obviously, there are the same ideas when you give the realization, but that discussion, that discourse, you have it with the people in front of you. It's a natural one. It's a Sahaja Yoga as you feel it. It's not something repeating the same sentences like you hear somewhere, even from Shrimataji. Obviously, we can borrow ideas from Shrimataji when she give the realization. Obviously, the exercise of the realization is the same. You cannot improvise too much. But otherwise, speaking with the audience have to be a very natural one. Now, some people see that from others, some people don't. Some people see it and they are not able to absorb. Lucky me, I consider myself that I see that in you guys and I absorb it Probably because that was my temperament as well, my way of being. Because many people saw you talking, not necessarily you personally, but others people, other friends Sahaja Yogi, which always were natural one, including Meenakshi, who had her first talk in public with us in Bulgaria in July 1990. He was very shy. Oh, I don't know. Someone put her to you, or someone else asked her under the tree in a park where
Okay,
we
yes.
in the afternoon to lead the meditation, and she was so scared. I mean, not scared, but no, I don't. She doesn't have 100% confidence, but after that, she managed. So that's a very important way of attacking uh, people and try to bring them to Sahaja Yoga. being being natural, being yourself, not being afraid. That's one of the things I saw. I'm not sure that's the reason for not being 100% successful. That's a small one, but I cannot stop to see that the uh, people being terrified not doing mistake. They are talking exactly by the book. Uh, okay, it's a it's a way of doing stuff. Dear Gwen,
You
before
see, just um, uh, I think that um, f- fundamentally fundamentally we as surgeons we are instruments fundamentally, and the music goes through the instrument, and the instruments are all different. Uh, we are all very different from each other. All human beings are different from each other, uh, and the, the the expression of the spirituality is made through our own beings, through our what is called prakriti. You know, these are through our own nature, um, and to be such, we have to be very spontaneous. It has to be spontaneous and let's say unimportant spontaneous.
yes, that's true. The spontaneity is true. It's it's a must. Um, Obviously, we are instruments, Vinayaka, but on the other hand, we have to be ourselves because um defining the instrument it's very important because the angels are instruments. But in my view, the angels are, maybe the word is not the perfect one, but are kind of robots. They are doing what they are programmed to do. Uh, we also are instruments, but also we have a big degree of liberty, of freedom. So the key is how we use that freedom. That's the in my view, that's the way how um, to balance between being the instrument and being yourself. Because meeting hundreds of Sahaja Yogi, I realized that there are not true Sahaja Yogi the same. So each of us have his own way of digesting, or how
Exactly.
you'll find another word probably better, Sahaja Yoga. The Sahaja Yoga have to go through us. That's my view. You cannot take the teaching and do it exactly like a robot. It's a it's a work in progress. That's the beauty of Sahaja Yoga, because if we'll be in a box, that's why Shimataji always said, "Do not quote me." But you know the paradox. Even when I said that, I caught her. So anyway, um,
Oh, I mean, the point is that we have to realize that we have to express actually let the, the divine, so to speak, is expressing through ourselves, and ourself being the instrument. That's the point. And in my case, whenever I do a program, whenever I make I may prepare myself when I make a special program on a specific chakra or specific deity or a specific moment of spirituality and so on, like the advent of Christ or the advent of Hazrat Ali and so on. Of course, I prepare myself, but I always I do not prepare the speech. I prepare myself, but I never prepare the speech. The speech has to be spontaneous. It has to be and we have it's always for me an amazing experience to experience that the speech flows and we don't think anymore. We just let ourselves being moved like in a boat in a river in a serene and poetic river.
yeah. Um, I don't know about you, but um, I love these discussions, and I always believe I have something to learn from those discussions. Everybody bring a point, and always I left learning something, little something, or more or less, but never without learning something. I very much hope that when we will talk about the books, especially when we talk about the books, we can develop a little bit more, go deep in those subjects. But until there, and before I ask you a few things about your um the beginning of your spiritual journey, I want to ask about your name. Like I told you before we started, and I have to let you know, dear people who watching us. I knew Gwen as Vinayaka. Everybody knew him as Vinayaka. Everybody called him Vinayaka. And long time after that, I learned from the cover of the book I read it that he's Gwenael Verez, and I always have a curiosity about his name, because Gwenael sounded in my mind like a medieval chevalier around the Arthur table with a sword, something like that. Uh, Looks a very old name, but I never have the chance to ask Vinayaka about that. I'm doing now.
Okay, good. Um, So yes, Shimadaji gave me the name Vinayaka when something like almost 40 years ago, um, and uh, I always felt that this name was uh, was really for me, and I did not I didn't it's let's say a big blessing to receive a name from Shimadaji, but um, many people do not have a name, and it's not so important. It's obviously very important for me because it's a beautiful gift from Srimataji. But many people do not have a name, and um, and I don't want other people to feel that. they are a bit not like us, that we early Sahaja have got a name. So uh, that's why I don't use it so much.
Wow.
That's one reason. The second reason is Vinayaka is obviously very Indian. It's the name of Sri Ganesha. Um, uh, but I never wanted, as strange as it can be, I never wanted Sajaga to appear as something Indian. I actually never felt that Shrimataji was Indian. I felt Shrimataji was absolutely universal. I never saw Shrimataji as an Indian lady, to be very frank.
Wow.
And I didn't want that uh, if we only use our Indian names, that all this looks very much Indian, and so I wanted to keep my let's say Western name, my family name, and so on, to let's say to appear as much normal as I can be. That's why I did not
Wow.
uh, when I wrote in the first journal of Sahaja in France, which was called Niamalai. Um, on yeah, it was called Niamalai. I only use Gwen because I mean I want us to be to I do not want that I do not want Sajaga to become too much Indian, and that's why I kept my name. And as I said, this name is a very intimate relationship I have with Srimataji, So I keep it for me and close in my heart, and I do not need to tell people that I have that name. That's one thing. As for Gwenael, you'll be surprised. Gwenael is is not a French name. It's a name from Brittany, uh, and uh, it doesn't mean anything about a knight or about swords and so on. Uh, you'll be very
Talmud.
surprised, but Gwenael means white angel. And I
Uh,
was blonde when I was a kid. When I was a
yes.
young child, I was very blonde. So my face was very white, and so it means white angel. Uh,
Ah,
but by the way, I have two first names. One is Philip and one is Gwenael,
yes.
and which is shortened as Gwen for most of my friends. Uh, and but Philip, amazingly, Shumataji gave to another yogi who has the name Philip, and she gave him the name Vinay, which is a small form of Vinayaka. And
Mhm.
she said that Philip, the correspondence in Sanskrit of Philip is Vinayaka, is Vinay. And it's amazing because.
Oh, wow, 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 wow. How
But,
about
hmm,
how about Verez? Doesn't sound French as well. Sound more Spanish or Portuguese.
And actually, it's yeah. Well, it I have no. Well, it's a name which is from the northern of France, and the northern part of France is Flanders,
Aha.
uh,
Yes.
and because that part was invaded by the Spanish, they had put a Z at the end of words, and
Oh,
that's it. That's
very
it.
interesting connection. Very interesting connection.
Not so much.
Yeah. I want to come back a little bit about what you said about the name. That's exactly the same as being yourself and being comfortable with yourself, and do not fall into those fashions, because I always, first of all, I agree 100% with you about the universality of Shrimataji, universality of Sahaja Yoga, universality of uh, of the mother. uh, I don't feel it as an Indian. And I believe Shimataji make a huge effort to be an Indian in her um, human apparition. She have to behave like an Indian because she was born there, but she's Adi Shakti. He's belong to everybody. And doing this Indianization, Hinduization of Sahaja Yoga, I believe is not the best thing as well. So obviously, what I'm saying now is not exactly politically correct from some people, but honestly, I don't care too much because that's my opinion. I like to see deities dressed not necessarily in Indian dress because they are also universal. Was a fashion and still is, well, it's a current of everything Indian make you a better Sahaja yogi. Eating Indian food, dressing Indian dress, having Indian names. I never believed that, and I'm very happy that you have the audacity, um, maybe the courage to said that. That is, it's our opinion, and I'm very happy that I'm on the same side with you. Also, going only for the names, do not make it a general observation. Just talking about the names, um, I, from my part, I never feel the need to have another name. I was very happy with my name. I know the meaning of both of them. I don't have the middle name, and I know everything about them, and I'm quite happy with them. Obviously, not all the Sahaja Yogi do the same, and was a big fashion, especially in the beginning of Sahaja Yoga in Romania. Not sure about the France or other countries where everybody go to ask for a name. And I was having just one question. How much changing your name or having that name um, help you in your evolution? So my answer, I never asked any, was a rhetorical question, obviously, but I didn't see any change. Therefore, but it's the first time when I meet someone who have a name and have this attitude. And honestly, chapeau, Gwenael, because for me it was shocking, a pleasant shocking listen to your explanation, to the reasons. Um, Usually, the attitude is completely different. Oh, I'm Sandeep, or I'm whatever, Sarasvati. They want to be seen as someone probably more important than they are. The name doesn't drag you to the uh, pedestal. Anyway, if you want to continue, okay. So I believe it's we cover this this subject, and I fully agree with you. And also I praise you because you have this attitude. I was quite surprised. Never find someone who have this attitude. I know exactly opposite. Someone who changed his name from the uh, official papers. That's another attitude. Nothing wrong with that. If he decided from now on, I will be called like that from United States, a guy. But probably like me, you feel a strong link with the culture, with the family, with the name you were given. So, yeah,
You
but
see, as I said, it's unimportant, and it's if there is only one important, it's related to me only,
yeah,
and it's an intimate, um, um, let's say, very intimate present Shrimataji gave me. So, and I could have lived without it, and that's, but going back to India and to um, to what we were speaking of, that Sahaja is absolutely universal. It's very actually that point is very tricky because India is the mother of spirituality.
Yes,
India is a Kundalini
yes,
of the
yes,
of the Mother Earth. It is a sacrum bone of the Mother Earth, and India is incredible. Most saints, I mean, most saints took their birth in India, and uh, the Indian scriptures are the
yes,
most profound scriptures.
yes,
You you you. I don't know if you know this prince, this Mughal prince, who was grandchild of Akbar the Great, the great Mughal empire emperor.
yeah,
And this prince was named Darashuko, and he was a very strong seeker. And as a Mughal, he
Muslim,
was he was
Muslim,
a Muslim.
yep,
But the Mughals were very open to other cultures because Akbar was very open, and his son Jahangir was also very open, and he was married actually to a realized soul. Um, and his let's say grandson was Darashuko, and he was an incredible seeker, and he said that the 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 what the Quran, what the book of Islam is speaking, uh, is totally related to the Upanishads, and he started translating the Upanishads in Persian, and that's how the Upanishad came to be known in Europe.
yep,
So the there is nothing more deeper, profound than um, the spirituality
uh,
as this as written in India. When you read Janeshvari, when you read Das Bodha, when you read Shankaracharya, um, it's the same knowledge as Sahaja, but written many centuries ago, and it's so deep and so beautiful, and no other writing anywhere in the world can match that.
that's true.
And so at the same time, Sahaja has its roots in the root of the universe that is India, for sure, and uh, Indian culture as well is magnificent. The depths, as shown in Mahabharata, the level, the level of qualities and so on. It's so deep and so subtle. Um,
Well, but we don't
so
have to be
indeed,
stuck
India
in
is,
that one. We don't have to be stuck in
but
that
so
of
India is so fundamental. So India,
yes,
so that's why I made many books about Indian writings. But again, I consider this writing as universal. They indeed have their root in India. They are totally universal. They belong to any one of us, and and uh, uh, they are fundamentally universal. That's it. So it's we have to manage this let's say ambiguity that India is so great, but India, the knowledge of that comes from us, that comes to us from India, is to be used and to be appreciated and to be loved. Uh, but we have so many beautiful things in our societies,
yeah,
in our different societies, whether it is in America with the original inhabitants of America, or in
yeah,
Europe.
yeah.
For example, when you listen to Bach and Mozart and I mean, and Victor, you read Victor Hugo and Maupassant. This is fantastic. So this
But
is one world.
even the great goddess, she come thousands of times, like Shimataji said. Shimataji
Yeah,
said she
yeah,
come thousands of times. And we are, I will tell you a little bit of one of our project, Delia, my wife, and I, about Cibele. So Cibele was an incarnation of the goddess. She started in Asia Minor, in Anatolia, but after that she was um, um, adopted by the Greek culture and by the Romans. So it's a very interesting story. So we want to make a podcast about that.
That's very interesting. You know, I spoke about it in the Search for the Divine Mother. I spoke about Cybele because
Yes.
she was one
Yeah.
of the greatest representation of the Devi
Yeah. I
in
know. I
antiquity.
know. In our study to Cibele, by bibliography, it's your book as well. But I've been there. I've been to a temple of Cibele in Bulgaria. They discover it now. So from there, I start this. Yeah, not now. Probably five years ago. But I've been 2 years ago myself there, and we managed to have a little bit of offerings there, and. I was talking with a friend of us from Holland, Netherlands. And when I talk about that, she said, "Ah, we have something similar here. We have Nehalenia." It was like that. So from the thousand incarnation of the goddess, we already find two, or obviously we know a few others, plus the Greek one, I mean, Athena and others. But that's a very interesting and worth it to follow subject. That was a preview. Sorry about that. I make a little bit of divagation, but
No, no, no.
there are a lot of, like you said, a lot of things. So we don't have to confiscate uh, Sahaja Yoga for India. Obviously, it's much bigger. It's not even bigger as the earth, as the world. It's bigger as the universe. So try to think universal here. Um, we
No,
I
wait.
have,
When you speak about the incarnation of the goddess, the thousand incarnation of the goddess, and Shivaji said there were 108 main ones. Uh, but in the meantime, the Guru principle also incarnated many times. The Guru principle. We have always in mind the 10 Adi Gurus, but among when Srimataji speaks about the 10 Adi Gurus, she also many times speaks about more than 10. For example, she speaks about Adinath, who was the let's say the first guru of Jainism. Mahavira became the 24th guru from Jainism. So she speaks about Adinath and she speaks about Machindranath, and she said that Machindranath was born in many places, in South America, in Russia. She said that Machindranath came in Ukraine and Russia. She said that he was incarnated in Colombia. She even gets she there is the image of in the uh, in the Indians of Colombia, the original inhabitants of Colombia. There is the story of a great guru, a great master who came 1,000 years ago. His name was Bochica. And when he's very well known in the Colombian Indian tradition, and Srimataji said Bochica was when she was this name was mentioned to her. She said, "Oh yeah, Bochica was Machindranath." So even the guru principle, the Adi Guru, incarnated many more times than 10 times. So indeed, no country was not covered by the divine, because the divine had to look look after the all parts of the world, and there were incarnations. Some have been lost; we don't know them, but many times. So, and even the disciple principle was born in many places. We know about Hassan and Hussein. We know about Solomon and David. We know about these people. But and Goraknath is a disciple principle. Goraknath was obviously incarnated. Shumataji said he also went to Russia. So the knowledge was shared. The divine knowledge was shared in all parts of the world, but in some parts it was more kept than in others.
Yes. Those subjects are fascinating. So we can talk about this a lot, but slowly we get close to our meeting, and we are far for reaching Romania. How about that? Because I don't want to go to Romania yet. I want to ask you um, how are your memories before Sahaja Yoga? What drive you to Sahaja Yoga? What was your spiritual experiences, if I call them like that? What make you a seeker?
Ah, uh, it's a difficult question. uh, um, I think I always was. When I was a young child, I used to speak with my mother about. I had questions. So one book was very important for me. It's called The Razor's Age by Somerset Maugham. This book is a great book. Sri Mataji spoke about this book. And this is a book about a young man, a young American, who travels the world. He's very rich and he travels the world and he ends up in India and he gets his realization. So it's a beautiful book. And in the meantime, I was interested in Indian spirituality because I had the inner feeling that India was, let's say, the epitome of uh, of spiritual knowledge. And I came to know about the incarnation of Sri Vishnu, and I was expecting Sri Kalki to come. But I felt that first, if ever Sri Kalki would come, I would not be there. I would not be there because I was not good enough to be with Sri Kalki, you know. Um, I so I had a strong feeling that Shikalki was on Earth, but of course I mean, little as I was, I mean, how could I ever dare that I would ever come across Shikalki, you know? So um, um, when I found that yoga, I I uh, I read. Very quickly L'Avènement, the Grégoire's book. And I read that book in one night, fundamentally, you know, a few days after my self-realization. And in that book, Grégoire clearly wrote that Sri Mataji is Sri Kalki. And that was a big surprise to me because, of course, uh, I was not expecting Sri Kalki to be let's say the Devi, the goddess, you know. So it was a kind of shock to me, and I was a bit um, very much surprised, and um, and uh, I had somehow recognized Srimadaji during my self-realization, but recognized within, not recognized as Srimadaji as a divine incarnation, but within. I really deeply during my self-realization deeply recognized uh, um, let's say the divine mother for sure I did. Um, but it was a few weeks after my self-realization, I had a dream of Sri Mataji, and that's how I recognized that Sri Mataji was really the one and the incarnation of the time and the, the, the let's say the promised advent of all religions and of all expectations, of all spiritual expectations.
So was nothing like a major event or something to bring you to Sahaja Yoga. Was a multitude of small events. Your natural way of seeking, probably.
Yes, but in the meantime, I think the Somerset Maugham, that book, which was uh, which was well known. I mean, that book, The Razor's Age, was well known. That's why many hippies came to India in the 70s because of that book. It is a very important book. Shrimadaji said that Somerset Maugham was a realized soul and that he was obviously that book. I think was a very big instrument for 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 the divine to awaken the seeking in young people in the 70s. So I was born in actually that book probably is from the 50s, 60s, early 60s or it's a great book. Shemadaji. If you read uh, Danya Mar's book, The Garlands of Memories, such a beautiful book. I recommend that book to be read, Garlands of Memories. Shrimati Dana speaks about that book, and you will read what Srimataji said about that book. So obviously that book was let's say a milestone in my thinking for sure.
Okay.
But then I read the Upanishads and I also read the Bhagavad Gita, and
Before
for
Sahaja,
me,
before
for
realization.
me, yeah, for me that was the Upanishads were clearly showed our destination.
Do you get them before the realization? Do you get Bhagavad Gita? You understood?
Yes, yes, I read Bhagavad Gita before,
And
and the
you
Upanishads before.
understand it, or you, you
Yes, I
understand?
understood that we had to become I that we had to become the Atman, the self, and that. But I did not uh, distinguish between God realization and self realization.
Uh-huh.
I thought they were all the same. So because probably they were for Buddha they are the same. So I did not distinguish between the two. Um, so yeah.
So that's a very interesting territory. Um, and I cannot go further without asking how you get your realization.
I got my religion in a very uh, actually as I told you I went to the Eastern um, school to the School of Eastern Languages in Paris where Hindi, Sanskrit, and so on are taught. And I took 1 year of Hindi, and I met some Sajogis there,
When?
Christophe Rigaud, whom you may know, and
When
then
happened?
excuse me,
When that happened?
in '85,
Yep.
and I I I went to a program in Paris. It's a simple program, and I got my realization. And it was a very incredible moment, uh, totally incredible, because I had sensations that I never had ever after. I mean, the let's say I was a hard nut, so I think Srimadaji put a lot of energy to 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 give me that very strong self-realization, which was basically, I mean, we all have strong meditation and so on, but my self-realization was something absolutely unique, absolutely incredible. So I think that Srimadaji put a lot of energy uh, to convince me that Sahaja Yoga was that, that Sahaja Yoga was the solution.
When I speak with people, they have usually memories about few years or a little time before Sahaja Yoga when they feel that they were driven to Sahaja Yoga because myself included. Uh, a lot of people I talk with, like I said, me included, feel that Shimataji prepared the soil before, especially in our part of the Europe before the communists fell. We need that special attention. So nearly everybody I'm talking with, especially from Romania, have this feeling. Do you have that feeling that someone take you by the hand a while before you get your realization?
Oh, oh yes. Uh, the first point is several times in my childhood, I felt the nirvichara. I felt thoughtless awareness several times. Special moments, but several times. And um, when I was when I was 21, actually, I went to America with a friend of mine, and we went to Yosemite, and in the park Yosemite, which is this beautiful park in California, and I was in this extraordinary nature, and and I knew that we had to establish the state of thoughtless awareness, but I was in this incredible nature, and I was really praying, God, how please make me one with that, because I want to escape these thoughts, and please make me one. And you know, in this incredible natural surrounding, uh, and a few when I came back to France, I had a dream, a very strong dream, and that dream uh, was a very symbolic dream, which I somehow reproduced in my book in Azratali. That's that dream is in that book, put to another person. But I had a very significant dream, but only symbolic. I didn't see Srimadaji, but it was a very symbolic dream about the Kundalini and the opening of the Agnya chakra. Very symbolic. And after that dream, in the morning, I came to my mom and I said, I will find the truth. I will find the truth. And 3 weeks after, I got my self-realization.
Wow.
It's amazing, yeah? It's amazing because it was very symbolic. And the symbols you could only understand through Sahaja. But I knew that this vision in my dream was a vision that I was I was really reaching the point where I would find the truth. And amazingly, I said that to my mom.
You, um, in
So
your,
indeed, we were prepared. We were prepared. Of course, and the several moments of Nirvichara were very vivid. They are still vivid in my memory. I remember them 3 or 4 times in my childhood. I remember them very clearly. You know, um, this absolutely uh, mental mental uh, state. I say mental, it's metamental, the state where you don't think and you see, and then you know that's where you are. It's fantastic. But so indeed, I think we all were getting prepared by Srimadaji
yes,
to find such yoga.
how your mom react when you told her? So,
although yeah, she reacted positively. Nothing special, but if you go to my book as Ratali, if you read Miriam's book, Miriam's dream in that book, it is it's a dream of a lady who is a seeker, and I recall that dream in the inspiration that I had was coming from my dream. It's exactly what I experienced. So you will see what it is.
I have to be honest. Obviously, I read your book. That's why I bought it. But I don't remember specifically because you have a lot of little chapters with everybody. In a way, mirror the Jesus, the Son of Man, Khalil Gibran, which also have these kind of uh, small chapters, history through the eyes of people who live by that time. Um, we are because I like a little bit the chronology. Help us organizing the discussion and organizing the memories and things. Only from that perspective, I like it. We are in 1985 now. Still 5 years until you come to Romania. Um, Something told me that this meeting of us won't be enough for reaching that stage to come to the stories from 1990. Therefore, I want to ask you two things. First of all, if you want to talk a little bit about, or even more, about those years from 1985 till 1990, some meetings with Shimataji. When you meet Shimataji, how was your experience? Um, if it's uh, happened something I don't know how should I put it, memorable, whatever you want to say.
I actually, I met Srimadaji 6 months after my self-realization because I got my realization in November 85. And it was after Diwali, so Srimadaji was back to India, and she came back during Easter in London. I cannot say that I met Srimadaji, but I saw Srimadaji in uh, in a human form. I saw her in London at Heathrow Airport. Uh, um, uh, it's of course a very special moment for me uh, because first I was very much expecting from seeing her, from seeing Shrimadaji, and uh, actually, we were waiting for Shrimataji, and Shrimataji didn't go out of the plane like ordinary people because she was the wife of a diplomat, and a car was waiting for her at the exit of the plane, and she came with a car directly to the exit to the gate, and we were waiting, and I'm not a person who is fundamentally patient, and I was a bit. I found, I was liverish, so I, I was, I was getting bored to wait so much, and uh, suddenly the the gate opened, and Shrimataji came out of a car, and I saw Shrimataji. Uh, I saw Shrimataji. Um, and it's difficult to express what I felt at that moment. First, an incredible gust of vibrations, an incredible wind, and and uh, I still see this moment as something very special because uh, I was so much moved to hear, uh, so much moved. Um, I felt that all my life I had been waiting for that very special moment to see her. Sorry, I'm a bit too emotional about it. Uh, uh, I really felt first, when I saw her coming out of her car, I felt like thousand suns were in front of me. And and that this specific moment was the goal of all my lives. And I started crying, and I did cry for a while because the emotion was absolutely too strong for me. It was absolutely too strong to be to have that incredible luck and to be there where I always wanted to be. And that was my first meeting with the first vision, real vision of Srimadaji. Very, very strong moment. Uh, and I don't want. I mean, I am very emotional, so that's why I recall that moment as an incredible moment, um, uh, which shows that being with Srimadaji was an incredible privilege, um, uh, which actually means nothing for anybody else than us. It's it's just about us, and uh, as strange as it will be, it's so beautiful. But in the meantime, it doesn't exist because Shimataji is everywhere. Shimataji is everywhere. She's here with you, standing next to you now, and standing next to me, and she's everywhere. She's in our sasrara. She's in the most uh, smallest particle of every atom of our being, you know. So uh, her divine incarnation was incredible. We felt moments of magic. It was magical. But in the meantime, humanity will have to discover Srimadaji through her Nirakara form, who is beyond, and she is the energy of the universe. She is the whole energy. She's the energy. Nothing exists without her. So she is so. Um, so that was my and then I attended a few puja and um, uh, when you attend the puja and the crown is and Shrimataji stands at the end of the puja, you really see the divine before you, and you can only bow down and uh, she unveils the 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 Maya. She unveils the Maya, and she allows us to see uh, a a small part of ourselves because we cannot comprehend. We cannot comprehend. It's beyond any understanding, any recognition. There is always a question that how we recognize Srimataji, that I think we will never know that answer, because how can you recognize the Adi Shakti? How can you so so that was my uh, uh, this incredible moment of seeing Srimataji for the first time. Um, and what else between 1985 and 1990? Actually, I started working, and I was sent to Japan by my company. So I worked in Japan, and we did the first programs in Tokyo. Uh,
When?
Actually, there was one Japanese yogini
When? When?
who excuse me,
When?
when was that?
Yep.
In 88. So
Yep.
in 1988, I went to Japan, and there was a Japanese yogini who had only known Sahaja for a few weeks in Austria. So she basically was very new, and she was praying Shrimataji that Shrimataji, please send me a yogi. And amazingly, because I didn't know Japanese and so on, but the company I was working with sent me to Japan, and I arrived on her birthday. I landed on her birthday,
Wow. So
and
you
then we
were
started.
you were her
We start,
present. Yeah.
yeah, and we started programs. We did a few programs. I started postering in Tokyo. Uh, I was in the early morning. I had a scooter and I had a rucksack with posters of Srimadaji, and and between my legs I had the pot of paste to paste the posters of Srimadaji, the photo of Srimadaji and the program, and a few months later, a young woman who had got her self-realization went to see Sri Mataji, a young Japanese woman, went to meet Sri Mataji in Judy Camp. And Sri Mataji knew that there was a program in Japan, but she nothing more than that. And Sri Mataji asked this young woman. She said, "Oh, so you are coming from Tokyo? So have you seen my photo in Tokyo? Because my photo is everywhere in Tokyo."
Shimataji knew.
Yeah, Shimaji said, my photo is everywhere in Tokyo. And I mean, Shimaji she had been informed that there was a program in Tokyo, but she didn't know that I had been every morning at 6 o'clock. I used to go with my scooter and paste in parts of Tokyo where I could paste. And indeed, I had put several hundreds of posters of Shrimadaji everywhere in Tokyo.
So we
So that
can
was a beautiful message Shimataji sent me at that time. Said to say, well, I knew that you had been postering my photo everywhere.
so we
And
can
then I
say
came back to Japan, and I think in '89 I came back in Japan in June '89, and then I think a few weeks later I was in Romania, I think, or
uh,
was it the year after? I don't remember.
I want to
Well, I
stop.
don't remember if it was in 1990 or in 1989.
No, no, in 1980. We will go there because I know the dates very well. So don't worry about the chronology of 1990. That one I know it very well. But I want to come back a little bit to Japan. We can say that you basically uh, held or help with the first programs of Sahaja Yoga in Japan. Never before have program in Tokyo.
No,
Uh,
no, no.
wow.
There was only one yogini who had got a realization in Vienna, as I told you.
Yeah.
There was
And
no.
Shimataji,
But the first program.
when Shimataji came in Japan after that for the first time.
I don't really
We
know. I
can
think
we
it
can
was,
find it. I mean, we go to the Amruta and
I
we
think,
can find the first.
3, 4 years later, 3 or 4 years later,
Oh, okay.
maybe.
So long after Romania. So how was the program in Japan? Obviously, you didn't know Japanese or enough Japanese to talk about realization. How was the you talk in English or how was the
Yeah, I took in English, and the Japanese yogini was translating me.
yeah. So uh, how successful was? How many people came? I mean, I don't know nothing about that. It's the first time I heard
Oh,
this story.
um, I will tell you it was 12 people came.
Yeah.
Um, all of them were men between let's say, well dressed,
Corporat-
with suits and uh,
corporatist people.
yeah, uh, and I think that most of them were from the Secret Service. I don't think they were seekers. I think they were because I mean I had put many photos everywhere in place which was not allowed.
That's
So I
another
think
question. That's another question. Um, you have the permission to put the poster, or
no,
you
I
put,
didn't ask. No, I didn't ask. I mean,
yeah,
I am a no, I am a free
like in,
bird. So
like in Romania, we put everywhere.
yeah, at that time it was a nice time because we could put posters. And in Tokyo you have big pillars
Yep,
to hold the lights
yep.
and the electric wires and so I could put a lot of posters and I think that most the people who came I am pretty sure they were from the Secret Service because nobody came after that.
Wow. You keep another.
Nobody, there was nobody came in the second session.
Wow.
And then we had one lady who came and I started giving also to some people I knew. But Sahaja started very slowly. Srimadaji said that Sahaja would be difficult in Japan because Japanese are very traditional, she said. So
Yes.
it will be very difficult for them to get in Sahaja.
Do you have picture
So,
from that time?
oh, I think, yeah, I have put some photos of that time on Facebook. And I could show you the first, actually, I could show you the first poster, Japanese poster, you know.
Yes, please. Yes, will be a big joy for us to.
I think I put it
If you
on
can
Facebook
share,
once in a while.
if you can share with us, please, next time, or send me the picture, or whatever material you have it, and I will share it from that Zoom. When we talk next time, maybe we will remember the story. And if you are so kind to send me some pictures, I will share it with the Zoom.
Okay, let's do like this.
Um, how do you think about closing that session today?
Yes,
Uh, because at least chronologically, we reach another era, at least for us, was the beginning of Sahaja Yoga for me and for people from Romania, obviously for hundreds and hundreds of um, person from Romania. Um, so I'm very happy that we cover a lot of interesting subject. Um, if will be up to me, I'm still interested in talking about your other experience from beginning of Sahaja Yoga with Shimataji or with the collective or others. If we decided or if you remember, or you decided to share some other stories next time about this period, I will be very glad. Otherwise, we can go in 1990. And like I said, at least chronologically, but not only. I know that period very, very well. It's very clear in my memory. The first year in Sahaja Yoga, but not only. The first year was very, very dense. And you, as many others French people, you are part of this history. But for the moment, if you agree, we can stop
for
this
sure, for
this.
sure.
Uh,
We spoke a lot, more than expected, but it was
yes.
spontaneous. Nothing was planned, and it was beautiful, beautiful conversation.
Oh,
So
thank you.
thank you very much, Daniel, and it's up to you. Just tell me when you have time, and we'll make another session.
I'm retired.
Excuse me?
I'm retired, so
Yeah.
I have enough time.
Okay. Okay.
We
So
will talk about
yeah.
that for the planning. For the moment, I want to thank you very, very much for, first of all, taking your time talk with me and sharing with everybody all these fantastic stories. Um, Therefore, we will say goodbye now. Thank you
Thank
for
you very much, Daniel. Goodbye and speak to you soon. Bye bye.
Jai Shri Mataji.
Jai Mataji.